One of my viewers writes in, Jordan Peterson is smart about a lot of topics. Diet is not one of them. Period. The science does not back up the eating of a pure meat diet. Over the past few months, his wife has had kidney cancer and now liver failure. She's been eating pure meat for almost 2 years. It's too bad that some of Peterson's followers are blindly following Peterson without doing what he tells people to do. Think for yourself.
So the first thing that happened was I quit snoring. That happened immediately. Took 1 week, and I was snoring quite badly. So that disappeared in a week. And that was amazing. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I had gastric reflux disorder. That went away. And then I lost 7 pounds the first month. I thought, oh, I had psoriasis. That went away. I had floaters in my right eye, which is also an autoimmune problem. That went away. I have had gum disease for 30 years. That went away. That went away. That's amazing. I'm 55. Like, my gum disease went away. I'm down to the same weight I was when I was 25.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. And I've got lots of energy. I wake up in the morning and I wake up. That's never happened to me my whole life.
Dr. Jordan Peterson is a scientist. He's also a philosopher. He's also an internet personality. It seems impossible to believe that he hadn't done a Google search before making this decision. This decision to go on a 100% meat diet. When you make a decision of this kind, you're not just rolling the dice with your own health. You're not just putting your own wife and daughter at risk. In this case, even his baby granddaughter has been put at risk by this crazy diet fad. There's a 100% chance that you're putting the lives of the animals at risk, right? There's only some percentile chance that this is going to kill you, whether through cancer, heart attack, diabetes, what have you. Eating a diet rich in meat is proven. It's proven to increase your chances of death, to put it that simply. But you know what? The animals on the factory farms, living their whole life under a steel shed on a concrete floor, they don't stand a chance. ABC News. University of Texas study links meat to kidney cancer. That's the sort of thing Dr. Jordan Peterson might have found right away with a Google search. Search a little bit further, this is the sort of thing you get. Intake of red meat and processed meat, this discusses both, and risk of renal cell carcinoma. Renal cell carcinoma, what does that mean? Well, in the first couple sentences here, you have explained to you, renal cell carcinoma is the most common malignancy of the kidney. It is the type of kidney cancer being discussed in this article. Globally, RCC incidence demonstrates regional variations, with age-standardized incidence rates being about 11.9 per 100,000 in developed areas and 2.5 per 100,000 in less developed regions. Boy, so wealthier, settled, sedentary countries, they have a much, much higher rate of kidney cancer. Why do you think that is? Do you think that could be related to diet? The consumption of red meat and processed meat has long been recognized as a risk factor of human cancer. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that a respected doctor of one science or another, a respected scientist, philosopher, and leader of public opinion like Jordan Peterson, are you telling me that he chose to just completely overlook the well-established fact that eating red meat increases your risk of dying of cancer, and to put himself not just on a diet rich in meat, but a diet that consists 100% of meat, that contains no vegetables at all, no bread, no fiber, no fruit? Wait a minute, and it's a known carcinogen? It's a known fact in the sciences that this causes cancer. Well, I'm skeptical, but I guess I have to keep reading. The consumption of red meat and processed meat has long been recognized as a risk factor of human cancer, as such meats are rich in well-established carcinogens, such as heterocyclic amines, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and N-nitroso compounds. Now, I've never said any of those words out loud in my life before, but hey, I am not a scientist. I do not have a PhD. I'm just someone who knows how to use Google. And there's an even more fundamental principle being put into practice here. If you were to ask the question, how can we be so certain that meat causes cancer, that meat increases the prevalence rate of cancer, that meat is going to increase the odds of you getting cancer? One way to answer that question is because we can look at the chemicals, the constituent chemicals that are found within the meat, and we can prove that some of those chemicals are carcinogenic, that they actually cause cancer. How do we know that broccoli is healthy? How do we know broccoli is good for you? It's the same principle. You can break down molecule by molecule what broccoli is made up of. You can look at all the macronutrients and all the micronutrients, and you can figure it out. That a diet consisting of broccoli and beans is much, much healthier than a 100% meat diet. Many epidemiological studies have investigated the association between the consumption of red meat and processed meat and the risk of RCC. We are using RCC here to refer to kidney cancer. Individual meat items, says the heading. There were positive associations between RCC risk and the consumption of beef, hamburger, and ham, salami, bacon, and sausage. Now, according to Dr. Jordan Peterson's daughter, the 100% meat diet that they're on is almost entirely beef. I think they do sometimes eat some meat other than beef, but it is predominantly beef. And beef is a proven carcinogen. It is also proven to be a cause of the particular cancer that is now imperiling the life of Jordan Peterson's wife. The results of this comprehensive meta-analysis show that the consumption of red and processed meat is associated with increased RCC risk. Again, RCC, for our purposes as lay people, means kidney cancer. As per the high versus low and linear dose response meta-analyses, there was significant heterogeneity across studies for both red and processed meat intake. In non-linear models, RCC risk appeared to increase approximately linearly with increased intake of processed meat, whereas there was evidence of non-linear increased risk with increased intake of red meat. Yeah. A lot of kind, warm-hearted people will say to you, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's how you play the game. It's hard to say that sort of thing when you take a gamble and what you're gambling with is life and death. I think it really does matter to us whether we live or die. I think it really does matter to us whether we die at 55, 65, 75, 85, whether or not we have the health to do things like walk and buy our own groceries and continue our jobs or careers or education, or whether we lack that basic kind of health. It's not just how you play the game.
Well, for some people, it seems like
for a massive amount of people.
Well, I think for far more people than we know. I think people are carbohydrate poisoning themselves like they can't believe.
To switch up the verbiage a little bit with that one, if someone were to say to me, it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong, it's merely how you play the game. Someone in Jordan Peterson's position should be able to take a long, hard look at the fact that he's been wrong again and again and again. And he should be able to re-examine the way that he's been playing the game. Jordan, you're wrong on this issue. And it's going to cost a whole lot of lives. Maybe it's going to cost you your own life. Maybe it's going to extinguish your wife many years earlier than she could have lived if instead she'd signed up for a fad diet of 100% broccoli and beans or any other genuinely healthful foods. We have no idea how many of your fans and followers are going to destroy their health and are going to die an early death because of your advice. But there's an even greater, nearly incalculable number of animals that are suffering, that are scared, that are alone on a concrete floor underneath a steel shed, waiting to die just because you convinced people to get on this sickening fad diet. You didn't just make the wrong choice scientifically. You made the wrong choice ethically. And you could have at any point challenged your own self-righteous ignorance and saved a lot of lives with a 30-second Google search.